What if I told you the greatest action film ever made was almost a sequel to a Frank Sinatra movie? What if the star who defined the genre was the fifth choice after everyone else rejected it? What if the villain was so charming that audiences rooted for him to win? Bruce Willis was a television comedian nobody believed could carry an action film. The building was so tall that a stuntman nearly died falling from it for real. Alan Rickman was dropped without warning, and his terror on screen is completely genuine. And the film that invented modern action cinema was almost never made at all. These are 20 facts that will change everything you know about Die Hard. Before we dive into video, please subscribe to our channel. Fact 1. Frank Sinatra was offered the role first. Die Hard was based on a novel called Nothing Lasts Forever, which was a sequel to another book. That first book had been adapted into a 1968 film called The Detective, starring Frank Sinatra. When the sequel was adapted, the studio was contractually obligated to offer Sinatra the role first. Sinatra was 73 years old at the time and politely declined the opportunity. The idea of an elderly Sinatra fighting terrorists in a skyscraper was obviously impractical. Only after Sinatra passed could the studio pursue younger actors for the part. The contractual obligation delayed development and frustrated producers for months. A film that defined 1980s action almost starred a 73-year-old crooner instead. Fact 2. Arnold Schwarzenegger rejected the script. Arnold Schwarzenegger was one of the first choices after Sinatra declined the project. He was the biggest action star in the world and seemed perfect for the role. Schwarzenegger rejected the script because John McClane was too vulnerable and human. He preferred playing invincible muscular heroes who dominated every situation effortlessly. The idea of an action hero who got hurt and scared did not appeal to him. Schwarzenegger wanted characters who never showed weakness or fear on screen. His rejection forced producers to reconsider what kind of hero McClane should be. The vulnerable, everyman approach that made Die Hard special came from necessity. Fact 3. Sylvester Stallone also passed. Sylvester Stallone was approached after Schwarzenegger declined the Die Hard opportunity. He also rejected the role for similar reasons about the character's vulnerability. Stallone felt the script was too different from his established action persona. Rocky and Rambo were both indestructible heroes who overcame impossible odds through strength. John McClane cried and bled and barely survived through desperation and luck. Stallone could not envision himself playing someone so ordinary and breakable. His rejection continued the pattern of muscular stars refusing the role. Every rejection pushed the production toward Bruce Willis and a new kind of hero. Fact 4. Bruce Willis was a television comedy star. Bruce Willis was known primarily for the comedy television series Moonlighting when he was cast. He had never carried an action film, and nobody considered him an action star. The casting was considered extremely risky by everyone in the industry. Willis was a wisecracking romantic lead, not a muscular tough guy. His hiring was announced to widespread skepticism from critics and audiences alike. People genuinely wondered if a television comedian could convincingly fight terrorists. Willis used that skepticism as motivation to prove everyone wrong about his abilities. His casting accidentally created the template for the everyman action hero. Fact 5. Willis was paid $5 million. Bruce Willis received $5 million for Die Hard, which was an enormous sum at the time. The salary made headlines because it seemed absurd for an unproven action star. Television actors simply did not command that kind of money for film roles. The studio was gambling everything on Willis being able to carry the picture. If Die Hard failed, the executives who approved the salary would face serious consequences. Willis felt enormous pressure to justify the unprecedented investment in his talents. He trained extensively and committed completely to transforming himself into an action hero. The gamble paid off and established new salary standards for action stars. Fact 6. The Nakatomi Plaza is a real building. The Nakatomi Plaza building is actually Fox Plaza in Century City, Los Angeles. The 34-story building served as the headquarters for 20th Century Fox Studios. Filming a terrorist attack on their own corporate headquarters amused the production team. The building was still under construction during some of the filming. Construction workers and film crews worked simultaneously on different floors of the structure. The unfinished sections of the building provided authentic locations for certain scenes. Using a real building added authenticity that constructed sets could never provide. The production had complete access because Fox owned the building they were destroying on film. Fact 7. Alan Rickman made his film debut. Alan Rickman, who played Hans Gruber, had never appeared in a major film before Die Hard. He was a respected stage actor with extensive theater experience in London. Hollywood executives worried that audiences would not know who he was at all. Rickman brought theatrical gravitas and intelligence to the villain role. His refined British accent and elegant demeanor made Hans Gruber unforgettable. Rickman studied European terrorists and businessmen to create his sophisticated character. The combination of charm and menace made Gruber one of cinema's greatest villains. A stage actor with no film experience stole every scene he appeared in. Fact 8. Rickman's fall was a real surprise. The famous scene where Hans Gruber falls from the building used a real drop. Alan Rickman was attached to a harness and dropped from a 40-foot platform. The stunt coordinator told Rickman he would drop on the count of 3. Instead, they released him on the count of 1 without any warning. Rickman's genuine terror and surprise is captured perfectly in the final film. His face shows real fear because he was not expecting to fall at that moment. The expression became one of the most memorable death scenes in action cinema. Rickman was reportedly furious after the stunt, but acknowledged the results were perfect. Fact 9. The glass walking scene used real glass. The scene where McClane walks on broken glass used actual glass and caused real injuries. Bruce Willis walked barefoot across sugar glass, which is designed to be safer than real glass. However, even sugar glass can cut skin when enough pressure is applied. Willis suffered several minor cuts on his feet during the multiple takes required. Blood visible in some shots is a combination of real and artificial blood. The pain on Willis's face during these scenes is partially genuine. The commitment to practical effects created authentic suffering that audiences could feel. Willis later said the glass scenes were among the most painful of his career. Fact 10. The director was known for action films. John McTiernan was hired because of his previous success with Predator starring Schwarzenegger. He understood how to film action sequences with clarity and excitement. McTiernan brought a visual sophistication that elevated Die Hard above typical action films. He used the building's architecture to create tension and strategic complexity. Every floor and stairwell and air duct became part of the tactical environment. McTiernan's direction made the space feel real and navigable for audiences. His approach influenced action filmmaking for decades afterward. The combination of contained location and intelligent direction created something new. Fact 11. The building became a character. John McTiernan deliberately made Nakatomi Plaza feel like a character in the story. The building has personality and secrets that McClane must learn to survive. Every level presents new challenges and opportunities for the desperate hero. The architecture creates natural obstacles and advantages for both sides of the conflict. Audiences learned the layout alongside McClane through his exploration and struggles. The contained setting forced creative solutions that open locations would not require. Die Hard proved that limitation could enhance rather than restrict action storytelling. The building remains as memorable as any human character in the film. Fact 12. The film was almost rated X. The original cut of Die Hard was so violent that the MPAA threatened an X rating. The ratings board demanded significant cuts to secure the R rating needed for wide release. Several death scenes were trimmed to reduce graphic violence shown on screen. The blood and gore were reduced in editing to satisfy the censors. Some kills were shortened or shown from different angles to minimize impact. The studio made the required changes because an X rating meant limited theatrical distribution. The final version is still intense but tamer than McTiernan originally intended. The battles with censors became standard for action films afterward. Fact 13. Willis did many stunts himself. Bruce Willis performed numerous stunts himself despite objections from insurance representatives. He insisted on authenticity and wanted to experience what McClane endured. Willis crawled through actual air ducts and ran across real surfaces during filming. The physical demands left him bruised and exhausted throughout the production. His commitment inspired the stunt team to push boundaries further. Knowing the star was willing to suffer encouraged everyone to work harder. Willis established his reputation as a dedicated physical performer on Die Hard. This commitment continued throughout his career in increasingly dangerous films. Fact 14. The Rolex watch idea was last minute. The climactic moment where Holly's watch breaks was added late in production. Writers realized they needed a clever way for Holly to escape Hans's grip. The Rolex watch that Ellis shows off earlier became the solution. Breaking the clasp allowed Holly to fall free while Hans plummeted to death. The setup and payoff demonstrated careful attention to story details. Objects introduced early paid off dramatically in the finale. This technique of planting and paying off details influenced countless action films. A last-minute addition became one of the most satisfying moments in the movie. Fact 15. The hostages were real employees. Many extras playing hostages were actual Fox employees who worked in the building. They were recruited to fill the party scenes, requiring dozens of background performers. Using real office workers saved money on hiring professional extras. The employees were excited to appear in a major motion picture at their workplace. Their authentic office behavior added realism to the party sequences. Some employees appear in multiple scenes throughout the film. The production created a festive atmosphere that made extras genuinely comfortable. Real workers playing fake hostages added an unusual layer of authenticity. Fact 16. Bonnie Bedelia demanded character changes. Bonnie Bedelia, who played Holly Gennaro, demanded changes to her character's portrayal. She refused to play Holly as a helpless damsel waiting to be rescued. Bedelia insisted that Holly be intelligent and capable throughout the crisis. Her suggestions made Holly a stronger, more interesting character in the final film. Holly stands up to Hans Gruber and protects her co-workers despite the danger. The character became a model for action film wives and girlfriends afterward. Bedelia's advocacy proved that strong female characters enhanced rather than diminished stories. Her performance elevated the emotional stakes of the entire film. Fact 17. The vault code has hidden meaning. The vault combination that Theo figures out has hidden meaning for observant viewers. The code references specific dates and numbers significant to the production. Writers embedded Easter eggs throughout the script for dedicated fans to discover. The attention to detail extended to every aspect of the storytelling. These hidden elements rewarded multiple viewings and close analysis. Die Hard became a film that revealed new layers each time audiences watched. The craft behind the screenplay demonstrated respect for intelligent viewers. Small details contributed to the film's lasting reputation and rewatchability. Fact 18. The Yippee-ki-yay line was improvised. Bruce Willis improvised the iconic catchphrase that became synonymous with the character. The script contained a placeholder for something memorable, but nothing specific. Willis experimented with different lines during filming of the radio confrontation. The crude, dismissive phrase perfectly captured McClane's irreverent attitude toward authority. McTiernan recognized immediately that Willis had created something special. The line became the defining moment of the franchise across multiple sequels. A spontaneous improvisation turned into one of cinema's most quoted phrases. Willis's comedic instincts from television served him perfectly in that moment. Fact 19. German audiences saw a different film. The German release of Die Hard changed the villains from German terrorists to generic Europeans. Distributors worried that German audiences would not appreciate German villains. The dubbing altered names and nationalities throughout the entire film. Hans Gruber became Jack Gruber in some versions of the German release. This practice of changing villain nationalities for local markets was common. The alterations demonstrated how international distribution affected creative decisions. German audiences eventually saw the original version as attitudes changed over time. The changes highlighted the complex relationship between Hollywood and global markets. Fact 20. The film invented Christmas action movies. Die Hard established the template for action films set during Christmas holidays. The holiday setting provided ironic contrast to the violence and destruction. Christmas music plays while terrorists execute hostages and buildings explode. The juxtaposition became a beloved element of the film's identity. Audiences now debate annually whether Die Hard qualifies as a Christmas movie. The film spawned countless imitators using holiday settings for action stories. Christmas became associated with explosions and one-liners because of this film. The seasonal controversy only increased the film's cultural relevance over time.